Hello all, so today Roberto has asked me to put another version of Leela against another engine, so that's exactly what I've done, and the link to the website will be in the description below, and the version I'm using will be in the title and the description. So here again it's a blitz match. I pitted Leela against Fritz this time instead of Stockfish 10 because I think the 4.0 versions don't do so well against Stockfish. So we'll see how this version gets on against Fritz. So it's another French, but this time Nd2 has been played by Leela. So we'll see what we can cook up. So basically I wanted to see what this version could do against the engines, because Roberto had a feeling that it was quite strong. So we'll see. So knight f6, and I'm guessing e5, yeah, and it's up to black now. So could play knight d7, or he could have played knight to e4. So again, Leela is white, Fritz is black. There's 4 minutes each, and it was a 2-second increment, and the clocks are still relatively even, with Leela with a slight time advantage at the moment. So white's got a decent setup. These nice pawns on b2, c3, d4 and e5 are really nice. It's a typical French position. So black's going to probably play bishop to e7, sorry, queen to b6, and undermine this d4 square. So Fritz has now opted to take on d4 actually. So guessing c takes will come, and then maybe queen b6 and trying to undermine this pawn, followed by bishop b4 most likely. So knight to f3 to protect the pawn twice, and maybe just bishop to e7 or b4 here. b4 has been played. Maybe just bishop d2, maybe a trade will happen. Now a typical move here is f6 for black, sorry, undermining the centre. So black has done this, so Fritz, I'm guessing maybe g takes here, or knight takes. The only problem is the e6 pawn is now backwards, so it looks quite weak, but the d4 pawn is also quite isolated. So knight takes, and now castles. Leela's saying that white is better. Fritz thinks it's equal. I'd have to go with Fritz's assessment, it was quite equal here. But Leela seems to like these two bishops on these nice diagonals. The only problem is for black is that the c8 bishop typically is really weak in this position. So it's kind of blocked in, so it'd be interesting to see what Fritz plays. Bishop d6. Okay, so there's no trade going to happen. I mean, the c3 bishop for white's quite weak as well. It's acting like a pawn at the moment. So knight g3, and maybe rook e1 is the idea, and to play knight to e5. Surely black here has to develop his bishop. And he does so. And maybe Leela will just develop the queen and connect these two rooks. So now anything's possible. This will be a good fight. I wonder if e5 can be played at some point for black. So Fritz is now down to 2 minutes. So that's quite a lot of time used already, but luckily they get 2 seconds back. Rook a c8 has been played. So maybe white wants to get his rooks onto the f rank, the e file or the c file. So yeah, so Leela moves from the f file to the e file. So it's eyeing up e6. Knight to e8. So what's black's plan here? h7 looks quite weak now that f6 has moved, and Leela opts to put the other rook into the d file, which is interesting, because you'd think the c file would be the best place to put it. So g6, this bishop on d3 is the best piece on the board at the moment, just eyeing up everything. And now queen to e3. So it's protecting the pawn on d4. Bishop to f4, queen moves back. I wonder where. So black seems to be getting into this game now. Knight to b4 attacking, so swap it off. So the queen takes, and now b2's under fire from the queen. So knight f1, rerouting this knight. Maybe opting to play g3 and maybe f4. So knight to f6, maybe g3 now. Maybe a3 as well as a move. So h3. So h3, maybe stopping the knight from getting to g4, giving the king some space, but still, doesn't that allow the bishop on f4 to go unchallenged? So maybe g3 can be played now, and it's just really defensive. Right, so Leela was giving space for the knight. Knight 1 to h2. And king g7. And now g3. Pushing the bishop away. I wonder if knight g4 will be played, and then followed by knight to e5. Okay, so a3 first, and maybe b4 will come. Unless queen to b3 is played. So now Leela gives that white is better again, and Fritz is actually down to 30 seconds. So could this cause Fritz some problems? There's a 2-second increment on each move, but that's still not a lot. Not a lot of time to think. And Leela's pushing now, so queen to e3. And bishop to a7, attacking the pawn on d4. Maybe just move like bishop, yeah, bishop b1. So the rook's now protecting the pawn. And king goes back to g8. How can white take advantage of that? I feel like that's a waste of a move. King g2, okay, so what white's just done is get off the diagonal of the queen and bishop, and rook's moved to e8. 15 seconds now for Fritz. Knight to e5, rook to e7, okay. And now knight h to g4. So will these knights be swapped off? Okay, so queen d8. I feel like white is now starting to take control of this game. Knight h6 is possible. Knight h6 is played. King g7. Maybe just queen g5? Yeah, queen g5 from Leela. And now there's some threats. So knight goes back. Knight takes. I wonder if they take the pawn and get on the h file. That'd be much more interesting. Oh, knight can take it. So pawn takes, yeah. And bishop to b8 from black. Fritz has got 13 seconds. Okay, bishop d3 and bishop d6. So rook h1's the obvious move here. Maybe f4 after that. So queen h6 is threatened. King g8's played. If it was me, I'd play f4 now, securing the e5 knight. Yep, so f4's played. And queen c7. And now rook to g7 played. The knight has moved back and rook g7. Queen h6, rook f7. Both engines are saying that white is slightly better. And now knight to g5, attacking the rook. Rook's moved to e7. So the e6 pawn is now under fire. And rook e1 to attack it again. Bishop d7 defends. How can white break through? So queen to b6. So So white's trying to maintain some control. Bishop b1, protecting the d4 pawn. Bishop to c7. Fritz says 8.4 seconds. I'm not sure if Leela's squandered her advantage here, but it's quite hard for these bishops to infiltrate, so white can just wait a bit. Rook c1, bishop b5, 10 seconds left to oppose to 28 seconds now. And b4 finally. So a5 trying to undermine it. And rook b2. Maybe just chop. No, bishop c4 instead. Okay, rook h1. Now Fritz says black's winning. Leela says white's better. So I guess we'll see. Rook c2 takes, and queen a3. Rook f2 and b5. Okay. What's happening here? I feel like a lot of moves are going to start to be played. Queen c3. Okay, rook e1. So is black just picking up this pawn? So queen h4 now. And bishop takes b4, queen f6, bishop d6. Okay, rook goes back, rook to f7. No. Okay, this is going to be crazy. Bishop d3 takes, okay. This is going to be so hard to keep up with. And black is actually a pawn up. But I feel like white's got better piece coordination. So protecting the bishop, where's white going to go? Rook goes back to f2. Queen to d3. So pinning that knight against the king. And Fritz thinks black's winning. Just a pawn up. It'd be so hard to convert this though. Oh wow, okay, so there's an attack. Queen f6. King g7. Leela's got less than 2 seconds left. And black's going to win. It was mate. And Leela lost the first game to Fritz 16. Oh wow, okay. That was unexpected. Leela said she was winning for the majority of that game. So we're on to game 2. And Fritz here is white, Leela's black. So we'll see what happens in this game. So maybe this version of Leela isn't as strong as Roberto expected. Fritz is taking an awfully long time to make the first move. It seems to be analysing, I don't know why. And finally plays e4. Okay, so that was a long think. Leela's playing the French. So yeah, in the previous game it seems that black just won a pawn and slowly infiltrated onto the second rank and white had no chances. So black actually played really well in that position because at one point it looked quite ropey. So d4, d5, kind of a French game. And what will white play here? Knight c3 has been played a lot, knight c3 has been played again. Knight f6. Bishop g5 is a move that the engines seem to like playing here. Oh, but this time it's e5, so knight fd7 will probably be played. I mean, knight g8 is also a move here actually, but no. Okay, so knight d7, f4. So c5 I guess, knight c6 and bishop e7 is typical French. So yep, knight c6, I guess knight to e2 or bishop d3. I can't remember the theory to this, but so bishop e7. And now d takes c5. Is that theory? Should white really take that pawn? So they've left it in. So black's left it in castle because they can recapture it at any time. So knight takes c5. And I guess just both sides are going to develop now. Bishop e2, knight c6, maybe bishop d7. So bishop to e2. a6, castles. So black could play b5 here. That'd be a pretty good move. Yeah, b5. Well, what's white going to play? So Leela says that white is slightly better, and Fritz thinks white has an edge. And f5, ooh, interesting. So if e takes, the d5, oh wow, so b4 and f6. And we've got this weird little capture thing going on. So black's got to capture. So white's just doubled their c pawns, but the f file's now open. Yeah, so c4 undermining d5 makes sense. But these pawns are really weak for the endgame. E pawn, c pawn, a pawn are all separated. So many pawn islands. So I guess bishop takes c4, maybe bishop b7. Black's position is pretty decent, I'd say. And bishop b7. Yes, there's nothing to fear from either side at the moment. Yes, a queen e1, typical move. Okay, and black just develops. So maybe knight c5 with one of the knights now. So I'm guessing rook d1, maybe. Okay, rook b1. Yeah, knight c5 would be an interesting try. So if bishop takes, yeah, the knight would have to recapture. Maybe the queen could and take on c4. So knight d2 attacking e4. And rook c8. Okay, so if captures on e4, the knight can recapture and attack c4. Yes, so now after the knight takes, or with the bishop take actually. Bishop takes looks better. c2 is attacked, and now queen to b4. The knight's attacked twice, but defended twice. The a6 pawn is also hanging, so rook c7. So bishop could take on c5. So bishop e2 to get off that line. And h6 for black, giving the king a safety square, and rook d1. Okay, so we've doubled, black's doubled rooks. And now just bishop f5, the bishop's attacked. So rook b7, queen c3. Okay, both just manoeuvring. I mean, those bishops on e2 and e3 are quite monstrous at the moment. It's weird that most engines seem to put them there on either the e2 or e3 or d3 and d2 squares. They just seem to park them. So white to move. Fritz plays rook to d1. Bishop g6, securing f7. So who's winning this? Both sides say white is slightly better. You'd have to say white's got this space advantage. And that a6 pawn looks quite ropey. But king h7, and black's pretty safe. You can't say they're not. And Leela's also winning on time, so is it going to end like the last game? Okay, so white's doubling now. bishop to e4. So queen to c3. Just trying to work out where black's gonna go. Okay, just push the bishop back and queen b2. Queen h4, so getting some activity now. So attacking the queen. Will the queen just have to go back? Okay, knight e4 is an interesting try. Queen c2, putting the queen right directly on the g6 bishop's diagonal. But now bishop d3. So rook e5, g3, bishop f4. What's going on? So the knight goes back and white just has won the exchange. So white's the exchange up, but black does have an extra pawn. So rook attacks, but the queen can't take on d4 because bishop takes g6 with a discovered attack from the d1 rook. So white should probably take on g6 here surely, because then f takes and then the e6 pawn's rather weak. It's h3. e5. Attacking the rook now, so where can that rook go? Okay, rook to d1, interesting. So you can't take it because then rook takes d1 on the second move. So you play rook c7, bishop takes g6. Okay, so I'm guessing white's plan is to just launch the c pawn up. e4 looks like a nice move for black though, okay. Okay, so attacking the rook on c1 with the queen. Rook c3 and now knight to d7. This is a very interesting endgame. I wonder if how can Leela convert this? So the knight on c5 is very powerful. But so white's trying to trade queens. But queen e3 and queen... Okay, so now white's threatening mate on h8. That's not good. Queen g8, king g6. Right, so this is weird because both sides are giving different feedback now. So Fritz gives white as winning, black... Leela's giving it as equal. But now it's changed its perception. So knight to d3, queen g8, and check. Okay. King h. Oh wow, king h5. Unless there's like some resource that I can't see, I don't see how black wins this. It looks like Fritz is just winning now. g4 check. g4 takes, and king takes. King f4. So black just lost the queen. So yeah, Leela's just lost. So Fritz has just won the rook. Rook f7 takes. It's game over. So g6 takes. Yeah, and Leela resigns. So unfortunately, Roberto, it looks like Leela isn't that strong at the moment, that version at least, against Fritz 16. So it's probably a good job I didn't put it up against Stockfish 10. Those were some really interesting games though. I felt like Leela had control and then sort of lost it towards a late middle game. So yeah, if anyone else has anything that you want me to do, just comment below and I always read the comments. I enjoy them. And it's good to have some people who know what they're talking about, which isn't me. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I'll try and post some more soon. Thank you. Bye bye.